Welcome to the GMBN Tech Show. Coming up this week, we've got custom bikes.
We've also got what's old is new again, and this week we're going to be talking about gravel bikes.
That's right, we said the word. Hold on. This week on the Tech Show, you might have noticed, we're joined by GCN Tech's Alex Paton.
Happy days.
Yes.
I'm glad to be here.
Yeah.
Owen's busy, right? So I'm stepping in.
Amazing.
Fantastic.
I think we couldn't have picked anyone better from the Road channel, because Alex has represented Team GB.
Rate that.
Yeah, represented cyclocross and mountain biking as well.
Yeah, I've done my fair share of off-road riding, so I feel like whilst I'm not as qualified as many people, I've done a bit of shredding in my time.
Yeah. And sort of the big thing and relevant thing to today's conversation, you did Unbound 200 this year.
Yeah, I did, right. So we're talking about gravel this week, okay?
Yep.
So I feel like naturally it has a crossover from the world of mountain biking and the world of road, and we're trying to discuss who actually owns gravel.
Yeah, like it's a massively debated topic in the office.
Yeah.
Like fights are almost breaking out over it. But
Yeah.
we're going to settle it.
We're not going to be fighting today,
No,
so
no,
I
no,
think
no.
we need to discuss some of the things like where like design inspiration has come
Yep.
from, maybe where gravel first started out,
Yep.
and then I think also we should try to expand a little bit on the definition of gravel riding, because
Yep.
I think it's a sport that is trying to remain undefined, but
Yep.
also people are trying to define it, and no one really knows quite where it sits between road and mountain bike. So
Yep.
that's the whole point of what we're trying to discuss.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
After you.
from a mountain biker's take,
Yeah.
we're seeing with like XC and things are getting bigger. So the bikes are getting bigger, travel's getting bigger, courses are getting bigger. That's left a void underneath that is needed filling, and that's where I think gravel's coming in.
Well, yeah. So, okay, we're going to start from the mountain bike. Yes, I partly want to agree with you that gravel bikes are filling that void, and I think it depends where you want to go with it, right? A gravel bike can be in that gap between a mountain bike and a road bike.
Yep.
But you can also have the spectrum goes the opposite way. You can have racy gravel bikes, right? But I think if we're going to say on ownership, I think gravel, as much as I don't want to admit it, did start out from the mountain bike side of things. I think if we go back, you can correct me if I'm wrong, go back far enough, we've got people like John Tomac, right?
Yep.
Having what was essentially a mountain bike with drop handlebars on
Yeah.
it. And I feel like that's got to be one of the first instances.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong?
I think it is. Yeah.
Whereas the way that road cycling, it feels like, has come along,
Yep.
is we've got kind of gravel bikes, mountain bikers were happy doing their thing with that, and then road cyclists have come along and we've tried to take a little bit of ownership of
Yeah.
it. We've gone, right, we need to make this undefined sport, we need to try to define it.
Yep.
So now we've got rowdy gravel bikes, we've got racy ones, we're trying to make it more of a like mainstream sport, we're trying to bring lightweight and performance into it. Whereas before, people were just happy going on an adventure.
Yeah. So, like common phrase, spirit of gravel,
Yeah.
it's said to be dead.
It's long over.
With all the sort of marginal gains from road coming across, particularly in the last couple of years, at things like Unbound, you're seeing deep section wheels, aero socks, skin suits, super narrow bars.
There's a lot of people that are saying aero doesn't belong in gravel riding or racing, to be honest, and I kind of disagree with that.
Yeah, I would
because
as
if
well.
you are racing, like performance does come into it.
Yeah.
Yes, if you're going out on the weekend and you're going on a big bike packing adventure, maybe don't worry about aero.
But I think that's what's cool. Like we're saying, it splits so many ways. So you've got brands like Orbea with the Terra and the Terra Race, which is the more race-focused bike.
Yeah, clues in the name there.
Yeah. And then even with our partner Propane, they've got, yes, the Terral gravel bike, but with one frame, but with like 4 different build kits, depending on what you want to do with it. So you've got the one with the dropper post and the suspension fork, and then you've got the one with the deep section wheels and that racing SRAM group set on it.
Right, you've said one thing here which has triggered me a little bit. Suspension and dropper posts. Two things, right? If I'm just totally honest, like I can appreciate and understand the technology. I totally get it. But for me, I don't think they belong in gravel. People are going to disagree with that, but that's fine.
Yeah.
And I just think if you're riding a gravel bike, right, and you've got to the point of going, okay, I need massive chunky tyres that are basically mountain bike tyres. I need a suspension fork, which is kind of basically a mountain bike product. I need a dropper post, which is basically something for a mountain bike. Like the alarm bell should be going off and you're going, maybe I need a mountain bike.
Very possibly.
Right, people, you said about gravel bikes coming in to fill this void of like cross-country bikes getting more extreme.
Yep.
But is that not the point of like a hardtail mountain bike?
You got me there.
Yeah.
You've got me there. Like there is a crossover, and I think we have explored it a couple of times on the channel already, but it's just having that sort of one bike. A gravel bike with those suspension and dropper features, I think will be more versatile all round than a hardtail.
Okay.
Potentially.
All right, I can kind of get on board with that.
Yeah.
But what we're thinking about things like design cues of where we're going with utilising technology from which sport. So at the moment, mountain biking, I'm relying on my very poor, limited knowledge here. Is it exclusively one by?
Very nearly now. So even on like, say, attainable price bikes, where years ago those attainable group sets would have been 2x, we're now seeing 1x coming into that with things like Shimano Qs.
Yeah.
Sort of the 1x10 with a big range cassette. Yeah.
So broadly speaking, mountain bike is 1x, whereas 2x, gravel is really like split between 1x and 2x. 2x is still a massive thing, and it serves a really good purpose, especially if your gravel bike is going more to the racy side of things. I feel like you're going to want some of these like closer ratio cassettes and stuff.
Fine tune your cadence and just get bang on with that.
Yeah.
Whereas again, a lot of people will opt for having the range of, say, that 1052 12-speed cassette, but then put a massive chainring on it.
Yeah.
Because you get the same range, it's just those increments in the middle.
Yeah, this is the issue. You see, we've highlighted the massive problem here is that there's too many different options.
Yeah.
So there's too many applications, too many different products, too many different revenue paths for like brands to be going down. It's like, do we want to make a crazy bike? Do we want to make a really lightweight, fast racing one? No, nobody knows.
No.
I think we're both on the same path that I think mountain or off-road owns gravel riding.
I'll take that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so. By definition, I would say it's an off-road bike.
Yeah.
Like.
Yeah, exactly.
But I don't see how I can argue it any other way.
No.
But what I do want to say is I think the input from road cycling into the gravel area, I think is a really positive thing.
Yeah, I think as blurred as things currently are and may continue to be, I think it's really good that everyone is focusing on this sort of centre point of bikes. And yes, as happy as I am for it to be defined as an off-road sport, I just want it to be shared and enjoyed by everyone.
Yeah, I think that's probably the really good point. Yeah, it's fun to debate like the good bits and bad bits from all the different sports and who technically owns it. But the main thing is, I think that the gravel bike serves the purpose of giving more people access to bikes and more varying terrains and adventures that they can go on.
100%.
I guess the answer to a lot of these things is the kind of bike that makes you want to ride and puts a big smile on your face is the one. And I think a gravel bike ticks that box for a lot of people.
Yeah.
But it's not just down to us, is it? Right?
No, it's not.
We should open this up to everybody at home. Yeah. So get involved in the comments section. Let us know who you think owns gravel and what bits you think are good and bad about it. And we just enjoy reading them, won't we? There you go.
Get involved. And we're on to the news. And on the subject of gravel bikes, or not in this case, Pashley have just released this really cool looking bike. So, they're describing it as a grounting bike.
Oh,
that's a new one to me.
A little bit of sick came out of my mouth there.
But its official name is the Wildfinder. It's sort of a mix of, a gravel bike and a mountain bike. So it's built from Reynolds 853 tubing with 3D printed bits on it. So like the dropouts and the bottom bracket yoke. Yeah. Quite cool.
Now I've seen some of these pretty cool kind of bikes that Pashley have been making. And this is another one which I kind of do appreciate. I like their sort of design ethos and the styling of them.
Yeah.
It's cool to see actually. But we've got, again, having just spoken about suspension forks on gravel bikes, you've got a couple of options here. Yeah. Like you've said about builds, you've got one that comes with a rigid fork, and then you can also spec it with a suspension fork, right? But with 100 mil of travel, that's like
it's sort
a lot.
At that point, it is sort of verging on being that XC bike, but again, it's that middle ground that means you can go for these adventures and not get unstuck.
Yeah.
on stuff.
What I do like, right, is that it's at the slightly more affordable end of the spectrum of bike prices, right? Frames available from £1,695 and different builds going from £2,795 all the way up to £3,995 for sort of like SRAM rival with all the bells and whistles on it.
I think that's quite cool.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And then sticking with the sort of more stripped back side of things, right? We've got this new frame set from Esker Cycles. I think it's called the Solitaire, right?
Yep, that's the one.
So I don't know much about this, but do you want to talk to us a bit?
Yeah, so it's a bit of an updated sort of clunker design. So sort of like early mountain bikes were sort of, well, this is very reminiscent of one of those, which is really cool. So it's a fully rigid 4130 chromoly frame of fork designed to run as a single speed. And I based it around 29-inch wheels with clearance for 3-inch tyres.
No one needs 3-inch tyres.
If you're running a rigid frame, I would definitely put them on it,
Yeah, one thing I think we need to discuss is from some of the images I've seen of this bike, it looks like it's a single speed with an oval chainring. Now, I'm not sure how that's working.
I'm not sure either. I'm going to read into it a bit more.
But it's pretty cool nonetheless.
Yeah, it's really cool. So currently available in Cadillac Desert Red.
Yeah.
With custom head tube badges. There are only 50 of these being made. So
let's face it, between the time of filming this show and this show going live, there's a good probability a lot of those 50 might have gone already.
Yeah.
But you get in there quick.
So pricing, again, nice and attainable. So $1,250 US.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, all right, fair. And moving away from the more affordable price points of bikes, let's talk about like top spec fancy new stuff.
Yep, and moving to the other end of the bike spectrum as well, we are talking about the new Scott Gambler.
Right.
So
I don't know anything about this, and to people outside of the world of cycling, they'll be going, somebody called Scott who does a lot of gambling. Yes, I appreciate it was the world's worst joke, so do forgive me.
No, it's allowed. It's allowed. We've done worse on this channel, for sure. But yeah, the bike itself, we've seen prototypes of these in and around the Downhill World Cup pits, but now us mortals can get hold of them too.
That's cool.
Which is really cool.
So Scott have this thing... I've seen with the shocks hidden inside of the frame.
Yep.
This is a theme that carries across on this bike, right?
Yeah, so I think it started on the Spark, so the sort of XC bike, and it's gradually just sort of worked its way up into the bigger bikes. But it's really cool. Obviously, it just hides the shock away from all that dirt, debris.
Yeah.
Works really well with their 6-bar linkage.
I don't know what that is, but it sounds great.
Yeah. Really nice suspension platform. 210mm of rear travel on this one.
Now that sounds like a lot. Even I know that.
It's a very capable bike when it gets pointed downhill. Yeah. And then, as is the trend with most modern downhill and sort of gnarly bikes, there's a lot of adjustment on it. So you've got 5 points of adjustment. We have got reach adjust with the headset cups, bottom bracket height, chainstay length, leverage ratio, and then the option to run a 27.5 or 29-inch rear wheel.
I get most of that right. The thing that's standing out to me is adjustable headset cups is not something that's made it to the world of road cycling yet.
No, so I think where you say you'd adjust your reach more with, say, like your stem and your bar width and your lever angle.
So this is adjusting the head angle as well, or not?
Let's have a look.
I'm assuming it might, if it's adjusting
reach
the
adjust, so I think it's more about moving the bearing
the whole
fore and aft.
Okay.
Yeah, instead of just
one.
Yeah.
Because imagine just changing the position of the top bearing. Like, I seem to have ruined the entire geometry of my bike.
That is the thing. But yeah, anyway.
A couple of different build kit options. Do you want to run us through them?
So you've got the bike park themed Gambler 10, which starts at £5,699 sterling. And then up to the race ready Gambler RC coming in at £8,849.
Right, I can't believe I'm about to say this,
Go on.
but hear me out. In the world of road cycling, that sounds like a more affordable price point, which is, I know that's ridiculous. It's a lot of money, whatever.
Yep.
But road bikes do have this like higher price tag and premium on them. And then when you come across the mountain bike, and you're like, hold on, I can get like the best possible one, and it's quite a lot cheaper than what road bikes
And there's arguably more going on.
Oh, this is a bigger debate for another time.
Yeah, we'll get you on next time for more on that.
And then having said at the start of the show, right, we got old stuff that's turning new again.
Yep.
There's a small change, but I feel like it's a pretty big change across the bike industry, right? That Shimano have made to their mountain bike cleats, which have essentially remained the same for as far as I can possibly remember, and maybe even extends further than my lifetime. I think
it definitely extends further than mine.
Okay.
But yeah, what we're talking about is their SPD cleat.
Yeah.
So largely similar design to what it has been for the last 3 decades.
Yeah.
But a subtle refinement now. So they previously relied on a toe entry, sort of, so put your toes in.
That was the first thing you would tell somebody who were using cleats for the first time. You'd be like, toe in, push down and back. So that's changed.
Yeah, whereas the new system is now multi-directional.
Okay.
So I think great for off-road. So if you're on clip for a corner, just slap your foot back in.
Yeah.
Job done. But the cool thing with these is they're backwards compatible.
Okay.
So they'll work with previous
existing pedal bodies rather than thinking, oh, new cleats have got to change in my pedals.
Exactly.
Happy days.
Yeah.
That's a good thing. What else we got? Some new XTR pedals, I believe, to go with this at the same time. Is that right?
So the new XTR pedals feature an all-new body with a wider contact area and raised pedal platform.
Yeah.
So more sort of secure feel once you are pedaled in. And then the pedal body is reinforced more compared to the previous generation's one, which contributes to the new pedals being 430 grams, which is 40 grams heavier than the previous model.
But you know, mountain bikers don't need to worry about 40 grams.
No.
You ride through a muddy puddle and you get like more than 40 grams of mud on your bike.
Exactly. These as well, you've got 4 adjustable pins and you've got some shims as well, just to get the sort of the fit right for your shoe.
Yeah.
The seals are improved as well, making the sort of reliability
of these
and longevity even better, because I know Shimano, they're really good anyway. But
pedals on mountain bikes, they do seem to take a bit of a hammering, so this is like a good thing in my mind.
Yep. Pricing on these, so the XTR pedals are $179.99.
Yeah, okay.
That's pounds sterling, by the way.
Couple of new updates from Fox next.
Yep.
I feel like
Fox clothing, not RockShox.
Yeah, I was going to say, I feel like a lot of the words I'm seeing here, I do not understand. Like, the world of mountain bike clothing is not necessarily one I'm familiar with, so I think you need to explain this to us.
So Fox are releasing the new Tahnee Seagrave collection. So this is to coincide with the UCI World Cup this weekend. So they're launching the new TS57 line. So the graphics on this are a throwback to the Fox archives with their iconic sort of spiderweb design.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I can get behind
And being the Tahnee signature, it's got her sort of signature pink, sort of heavily influencing.
Yeah.
Everything, which is really cool. And the line includes the women's Flex Air TS57 long sleeve jersey and pants, Flex Air TS57 gloves, and a TS57 oversized t-shirts and hoodies.
Okay, and then lastly, actually in the tech news, so RockShox have been announced the official suspension partner of the UCI Mountain Bike World Series.
I mean, that's pretty big.
That is actually pretty big news.
Yeah.
So RockShox have long been part of the race series across all of the different disciplines, and that's now been made official with their partnership, the UCI Mountain Bike World Series. Yeah. Details on this are relatively thin on the ground at the moment, but we've got a quote here from Chris Ball, who's Vice President of the Cycling Events at WBD Sports. He says, the new partnership builds on WBD Sports and RockShox's solid foundations in the mountain bike world and will encourage even greater integration in the series to come.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's good news to see like big brands getting involved, trying to help support the top level and echelons of racing.
Sort of keep it going.
Yeah, I like it. It's good.
I like that. Nice.
I believe we have a quiz next.
Yeah,
this
quiz
is news
time.
to me.
Yep.
Pop quiz. Are you going to ask me questions? Well, how's this work?
So, for you guys at home, so last week, Owen asked you the question. Well, we talked about some new rims from DT Swiss, whilst well known for spokes, rims, hubs, and their famous star ratchet system. We asked you, who was the inventor of the ratchet system?
See, I in my head, I kind of knew the answer, but I couldn't remember the guy's name. That's obviously written here. So it's William Hughie, who created the star ratchet system and was then used by DT Swiss for a number of years, protected under patent, right?
Yep.
And then that patent expired, which was one of the catalysts for so many different brands starting to utilise that kind of technology.
Yeah.
So kind of cool. We've got the winners here.
Yeah.
Reginald...
Almazan?
Almazan or 6933.
Yep.
Drum brakes, Sepster 58 and Tim _Sadler.
Yes.
What does everybody win? Don't know.
High five.
Cool
kudos.
stuff.
Yeah, thumbs up.
Big shout out.
New question.
Yeah,
for this
okay.
week. So we've obviously spoken about gravel. So we just want to ask, what company made the first mass production gravel bike?
Yeah, this is a good, tricky question. I think we're looking forward to people getting involved with
Undefinable.
Well, it's undefinable.
We're trying to define the undefinable.
Yeah, we're trying to define the undefinable, but broadly speaking, there is one place that most people will attribute into this like production gravel bike. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I wish everyone
down in the comments.
Like I said, I wish everyone the best of luck with that. We also need to talk about other cool stuff. I was going to say that we've seen, but let's talk about cool stuff in the mountain bike world that you've seen.
Yeah, so we've got a custom bike marking Troy Brosnan's 100th World Cup start. So Troy riding for the Canyon Collective, they're partners. They've teamed up to make a really cool custom one-off bike for Troy. So there are some nice details in it, as well as a killer paint job.
This thing looks off the charts.
Yeah.
I really like the metallic-y purple that is used on the logo and the accents of some of the other parts.
I think it goes really nicely with the RockShox fork it's got on it.
Yeah,
sort of like
cool.
I want to say a custom purple because you don't normally see them that colour.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a shame this weekend that the course was so muddy and it spent most of the time covered in mud.
That's a bit of a nightmare, isn't it? Brand new bike, super muddy, brilliant.
But yeah, Troy did end up taking it to 4th place after a pretty good run down the hill, which was cool.
It's also Enduro World Championships week, is that right?
Yeah, so it's sort of multi-day event,
yeah, okay.
Big enduro, which is cool.
Which means more cool bikes, I'm assuming.
Yeah, loads of really cool bikes. So they're probably out racing as we're recording this.
Good.
Which is cool.
So if everyone's done amazingly, we can't give them a shout out yet.
No, not yet,
we're ahead of time.
No.
Yeah.
So we've got we've got 2 bikes we've picked up on. So we've got Alex Rudeau,
which
unsurprisingly French themed and looking very cool. Very moody photo on a mountain.
Yeah, this is cool.
That's cool.
Like that.
Nice comment, Sal.
Rate that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then this one, we both like race car themed bikes.
Yeah, we do.
And I think this one's a really cool one. So Greg Callahan, he's got his Ibis, sort of an Irish green, but a very, very
cool, isn't it?
Nice nod to the driver, Craig Breen, who unfortunately passed away after a testing accident.
Oh, that is sad.
Yeah, but it's a really nice tribute, so definitely go and have a look at the post on Greg's page to see what it's all about.
Yeah, and I'm sure hearing that the Enduro Mountain Bike World Champs are on right now, no doubt it's going to be jam-packed with really cool custom bikes.
So there's going to be loads more, like, we won't have picked up on right now.
Well, same for next week.
Yeah, same for next week.
That's the beauty of doing a weekly show.
Let us know what your favourite bike is from the World Champs down below.
Yeah. Okay, next up we have a question that's been submitted by somebody using the hashtag AskGMBNTech, and this is from Likey070. They say, when buying a new bike, a lot of people, including myself, are in between the sizes. Everyone says smaller is playful and larger is stable. But what are the ends of the sizes that maximum one person can go to? Are there tolerances that say if someone's 175 centimetres and want to be more stable, do they go for the size L, or are they tied to the medium specifically? And they've given an example here saying they're asking about the propane spin drift, but it is kind of like rather a general question as well.
Yeah, I say it's a very cool bike. I've got one up there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So, right, bike size is tricky to answer, right? Because there is no like definition or rule that works for everybody, because everyone's proportions are all going to be slightly different.
So obviously once you get the bike, you can change things on it: stem length, bar width.
Yeah.
Again, we've covered it, so go check those videos out. But I think for your height, you've listed, what was it, 175?
Yeah.
So that puts you sort of bang in the middle of the medium size on the spin drift. But more generally, you're seeing, so a larger bike will be more stable.
Yeah.
But then a smaller sized bike will,
there's more of it to move around underneath. You've got more space.
Exactly that. With enduro, we're seeing a lot of riders sort of riding smaller bikes. Yeah. But then on downhill for stability, again, we're seeing them ride larger bikes.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
So the thing I'm thinking of in terms of how I would look at this from a road bike, I know it's slightly different, but broadly speaking, I would say it's easier to make a smaller bike fit you than trying to get a big bike to shrink down to fit you, because you just can't make some of those physical dimensions smaller on the frame.
I would agree.
If you've got a smaller bike, typically you can get more seat post or a longer stem to kind of try and make it fit you.
Yeah.
So I feel like if you're, in this example, I think you're pretty much bang in the middle of a medium. But if you're on the cusp of two sizes, I would err on the side of caution and go for the smaller size.
Yeah. Just one thing to bear in mind with sort of mountain bikes, I guess some road bikes as well. So some brands will offer size-specific rear ends of a bike. as well as obviously the front end changing. So if you are opting for a smaller bike, the back end will be smaller, that sort of thing. But I know with Propane, if you are in the UK or maybe elsewhere, they do have demo services as well.
Yeah.
So 100%, if you can try one out before you buy one, I would do that.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. Like, it's typically everyone would have gone, well, go to your local bike shop, try it, test it out. Yep. But obviously, we're now in a world where you've got lots of online brands. Yep. So the fix for that is, well, people and brands put demo days on. So yeah, try and hunt one of those out, and it'll give you the scope to try the different sizes. 100%. You might go, do you know what? I actually prefer the bigger size bike. Yeah. There you go.
Yeah. There you go. If you've got a question for #AskGMBN, get it in the comments down below.
And talking of comments, we've got a few comments from last week's tech show, right?
Yeah. So
what were you guys talking about?
So it was our forerunner show, and we were talking about the trends that stuck and trends that sucked in that time.
Okay,
so it'd been about, doing the maths, when was it, 2018 we started?
Can't do the maths.
So, no, that's a while ago.
I can tell you it's 400 weeks ago. Yeah. Right, okay, you want to read the first comment out?
Yeah, so from Carl Meadows MTB.
Oh, no, I can read that because it's got a GCN written in here.
Okay, go on. Let me read this for you.
I'm going to get the tone right of this one.
Yep.
Hang on. Gravel bikes are not mountain bikes. Why are you wasting our time and taking away from GCN by carrying on about gravel road bikes when we ride mountain bikes? Adam, what the hell are you doing?
I like gravel bikes.
Yeah.
I really want you guys to like gravel bikes, so go and see our conversation at the top of the show.
Yeah. Well, and we've kind of decided, like, off-road owns them a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Michael Sulls, they say, gravel happened because XC drifted through the years towards harder and harder, more tech-demanding tracks, so the gap between road and mountain bike became big enough to squeeze another category in there. Yeah, really good point.
We're on the same wavelength.
Yeah.
Very good. So, Mr. Gord, one trend that stuck for me is the use of cycling devices and apps to track distance, elevation, speed, etc. Back in the day, I had to rely on paper maps and rough estimates to calculate how much I rode. Now, apps and smart devices record all that stuff for me, and thanks to GPS, I seldom get lost whenever I visit a new trail network I've never been to. Nowadays, I never visit a new location without my cycling GPS.
Well, I'm not old enough to have relied on paper maps.
No.
But before the days of cycle computers being, like, just the go-to thing, and Strava and GPS, the way I would time my rides as a kid, I would look at the kitchen clock at home as I was leaving, and if I started riding at midday, honestly, and then I got back and the time when the kitchen clock said 2 o'clock, I'd go, well, I've done 2 hours, job done.
There you go.
Even if I sat in a cafe for half of that, I'd be like, cool.
There used to be some really cool publications where they'd have like a routes and like map section you could cut out and I guess either laminate and put in your saddlebag or whatever. But I think even just as a safety thing, having that GPS and not getting lost, it's meant, having moved around a couple of times, I've been able to explore a new place by mapping a route and not have to worry about, what way have I got to get back, because it's all there.
The thing that stands out in my mind, right, if you go back far enough, talking about using paper maps, is all these really old, distance records that people have got. You know, it's the person that has cycled the greatest distance ever, and you think, hold on, how are you tracking this? Because 50 years ago, the way you're tracking your ride is you've written in a little journal by hand saying, I cycled 50 miles today from here to here. And you're like, did you really? Did you really? I don't know.
Did you get someone to walk the route as well and do it foot by foot?
Yeah, I don't know how we tracked it. Anyway, we've gone off piste. Right, on to the last comment. It's from
Mancurian Counterweight.
Yeah, he saved me on that.
There we go. So I think the best new trend that will stick is user adjustable frames, not just a flip chip, but the ability to change bottom bracket height, reach, chain stay level, travel progression, etc., all by the user. Yeah.
Is that going to stick, or is that something that's got to come in the future? Adjustable chainstay.
I really hope it does, because I think we spoke about that new Trek Fuel a couple of weeks ago, where it's essentially one chassis, but you can change bits out on it to make essentially 3 different bikes from it.
Wow.
So I think in a world where there are too many options for bikes, having one central bike that is then adjustable to everyone individually.
That sounds amazing.
Will mean you can satisfy more people, but with less product.
I mean, we need this in the world of road cycling, to be honest. That sounds brilliant.
Yeah.
Finally, this week, we've got to talk about things that are coming up this week.
Yeah.
So over to you. What have we got?
We've got a cameo from Rich talking about one of the big new trends we're seeing, which is big bars, so stay tuned for that. And I'm diving into some tips for proper-sized riders rather than just racing snakes. So.
Yeah, I think that's a good point, because everyone looks, certainly in the world of road cycling, everyone looks at pro racers, and let's face it, they're all pretty blooming slim and lightweight. And average people are not necessarily quite like that.
No. I flew back from Norway yesterday, and I was on the plane with one of the teams, and there was they're all turn sideways and they disappear.
Yeah. These are road cyclists.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Right, so that leads us to the end of this week's show, right?
Yeah.
Adam, it's been absolutely mega. Thanks for having me.
That's all right. It's been mega having you on, mate.
Should we do something cool like mountain bikes do? Should we do a fist bump?
Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
There we go.
Please do get involved in the comments section down below. Let us know who you think owns gravel. I think we've agreed that mountain bike kind of owns it, but if you disagree with us, well, let us know. And, I guess at some point, I'll maybe venture back on the show.
I hope so.
Who knows? Yeah. Right, we're out of here. See you
soon.
Bye.